The Stanley Hotel served as both a filming location for the related 1997 TV miniseries, and served as the inspiration for the Overlook Hotel, in Stephen King's 1977 best-selling novel The Shining, and also its 1980 film version. Mr. King has had his own paranormal encounters in the hotel, which we will go into more details about that later in this video. Francis Edgar Stanley and his brother Freeland were identical twins. They were inspired to build things from simple materials at a young age. As a result of their ideals, they were granted numerous patents. They made their fortune by creating the airbrush, and by revolutionizing the dry photographic plate process, which helped launch the Eastman Kodak Company. They took an early retirement, but continued to innovate. The twins unveiled their Stanley steam car in 1897. This idea was turned into a reality, which eventually resulted in a steam-powered self-propelled interurban vehicle. The Stanley steam car outsold every gasoline-powered competitor between 1902 and 1917, making it the most popular car in America. Freeland Stanley developed TB in 1900. Freeland and his wife Flora were advised to relocate to Denver, Colorado, since the only known possibility of a cure was to eat well and spend time in the outdoors. His physician had given Freeland barely 3 months to live by May of 1903. In order to spend his final months in the doctor's cabin, Freeland's doctor sent him and his wife Flora up to Estes Park for the summer. Freeland miraculously recovered from his illness. At the future site of the Stanley Hotel, Freeland and Flora made the decision to construct a mansion with the intention of improving and enhancing the Estes Park neighborhood. The acres around the mountainous property that Freeland Stanley purchased was the ideal spot for their summer vacation residence. This position had the greatest views of the mountains and lake. The Hotel Stanley, a 48-room opulent hotel that appealed to the sort of moderately wealthy urbanites that made up the Stanley's social circle back east, as well as to consumptives seeking the healthy environment, saw the start of construction in 1907. Freeland not only gave the town electricity and power, but he also installed a sewer system, reintroduced elk to the area, and replenished the lake with fish. He provided land for various significant structures, and his friends visited the area and boosted the local economy. The Stanley Hotel was sold after Freeland Stanley's death in 1940, because he had left no heirs. The hotel struggled to turn a profit so that it could survive for years. Being a commercial hotel has been difficult. Even if Freeland and Flora could afford the price tag, many others could not. Before its present corporate owners bought it as a fixer-upper, the Stanley Hotel had 26 owners. After bringing it up to the quality to where it draws guests, the hotel became a successful investment. There have been reports of children playing and running in the fourth-floor halls. On the fourth level, there have also been reports of children whispering in the closets of the rooms. In order to play with them, one young boy entity will attempt to awaken sleeping children on that floor. Another child ghost goes to great measures to attract the attention of those who reside in the rooms on the fourth level. He does things like turn on the TV loudly, and tampers with the lights, among other things. The center staircase is home to an entity that enjoys peering at the people below. As soon as the Stanley opened, Mrs. Smith began working as a chambermaid. She was responsible for lighting the gas line in room 217, in 1911 one night when the power wasn't working. Room 217 was a luxury suite only for high-profile visitors. Someone once tested the gas but failed to turn it off afterwards. As a result, when Mrs. Smith lighted the gas, it burst into flames, destroying not just room 217 but also the rooms on the 3 stories above it. Fortunately, Mrs. Smith was injured but survived after being catapulted through the blast to the main floor. Stanley visited her while she was in the hospital, paid for all of her medical expenses, and made her an offer to become the head chambermaid. It has been said that she has appeared passing through room 217, and into the wall where the previous connecting door was to the adjacent room. She is rumored to straighten the room and pack the guests' luggage as well as hang up the guests' clothes. She also has moral principles she upholds. Unmarried couples have reported multiple instances of feeling a cold presence come between them in bed, as if she is trying to forbid premarital activity. Another entity continues to loiter around room 401, which is the former nanny's break room. He has taken valuables from visitors, which is typically discovered later, and he prefers to remain hidden in the closet. He has been known to breathe down women's necks, touch their shoulders or waists, and other strange things when they go into the closet. Employees use the hotel's underground passageways to go between rooms and the restaurant and laundry facilities in the Stanley's early years, because it was considered unprofessional for workers to be visible to customers. The enticing and mysterious aroma of baked goods that is commonly observed there is proof that the tunnels are claimed to be haunted by the ghost of a pastry chef. Flo Stanley enjoys playing the piano in the early morning hours, much to the displeasure of those who reside in the rooms above the music room. She has been captured in photographs that are displayed in the basement slideshow while she is on the main staircase. Her ghost has been spotted waiting for her visitors by looking out the music room's windows. The ghost of Freeland Stanley has been observed moving across the main foyer. His ghost has been spotted at the main floor bar at closing time, leaning against the wall with his arms folded, and watching the staff members go about their work. People have mentioned being tucked in at room number 407. A young child claimed that during the night, he repeatedly kicked his covers off and then forced them back on. His mother expressed her disbelief and insisted that she hadn't woken up throughout the night, and hadn't kept him covered. One visitor claimed to have felt someone sit on the side of the bed, but when the light was turned on, nobody was present. But she did notice an imprint in the bed, as if someone had suddenly stood up. In room number 428, it is frequently visited by a ghost cowboy. A few years ago, a couple woke up to discover a Wild West cowboy pacing at the foot of their bed, after observing him for a while. They politely asked him to leave. He did so after leaning over the woman and appearing to kiss her. Sometimes when female visitors awake, he's leaning in for a kiss on the forehead. The concert hall is a hub for paranormal phenomena as well. From 1995 to 2005, a man who was employed at the Stanley, he passed away from a heart attack while traveling from the hotel to the hospital after experiencing chest problems. He was a jack of all trades, and was in charge of enforcing the hotel's curfew of 11 p.m. In the late hours, it's not unusual to hear a faint and menacing voice say, "Get out." Just a few years ago, a construction worker sanding the floor said the former employee tried to push him to the door after feeling two arms pull him back. Additionally, there is a ghost of a young girl called Lucy. Lucy explores the concert hall. She often plays with the lights, although she has been observed using flashlights to actively contact with and respond to employees as well as with parapsychologists. Her past and relationship to the Stanley are still unknown. She is said to have fled or been destitute before finding safety there. Employees claim that wherever Lucy is, the energy and mood are lifted by her presence and faint beautiful humming. Stephen King was writing The Stand in the 1970s while residing in Boulder, Colorado. He and his wife Tabitha took a weekend trip to Estes Park, an hour to the north, to spend time away from their kids. In an appearance on the TV program The View, King said that he and Tabitha arrived in search of lodging on the Stanley Hotel's final day for the season. King recollected hearing the wind whistling outside the room, and remarked that they would be the only guests in the enormous hotel that night. The couple went to the restaurant and bar for the evening before retiring to room 217, the same room that was the site of the explosion in 1911. The author had a vivid nightmare in which a coil of fire hose came to life, and chased his crying son through the hotel corridors. He lit a cigarette and glanced out the window after being startled awake. The general plot of The Shining was completed and taking shape in his head by the time he put out the cigarette and went back to bed. Because The Shining would be King's third horror novel and he would become associated with writing horror, King's publisher tried to convince him not to publish it. King took it as a compliment because he had been reading and writing horror stories since he was a young boy and decided to publish it. We will put a link below to the hotel. They do offer evening ghost tours. Besides the ghost stories, the hotel is considered one of the best hotels in the country, with many interesting things to do. So what do you think of the Stanley Hotel? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe.